Hello everybody, it's Napalm Dawn on G4G. We are back in Marvel Snap and we are taking a look at the beginning of the MODOK season, aka the Into the Quantum Realm season. You're going to see a lot of MODOK and Ant-Man related stuff in this Battle Pass, so let's get into it. First, if you get the Battle Pass, you will go ahead and unlock MODOK. He will be your first card over here. On reveal, discard your hand. He is a 5/8, so he's got a pretty good amount of power in his own right. And then we'll start with the credits. We start with MODOK boosters, gold credits, MODOK boosters, mystery variant, and then we have our first Ant-Man related item over here. Pretty horrific looking, as that looks like a giant skull window into his brain. We're going to see some more of that in a little bit. An Ant-Man variant over here. So the ant looks like he's got some silver spray paint going on. It actually looks like muscular ligature over here. It's like here, this leg kind of looks like typical bug carapace. This section by the eyes kind of looks like muscle underneath skin, like some Hellraiser kind of stuff going on there. And Ant-Man's armor is pretty awesome, minus the little brain window over there. Still would probably stick with the Thor profile picture that I've got. And we have a hourglass back over here, a title, couple cubes short of rank. Another Ant-Man, or this one I think is Wasp. Yeah, this is a Wasp avatar. Again, little crazy with what looks like a brain window going on over there. And then here is the card that is tied to it. It is called a steampunk variant. So now that I see it, it's actually gold when I see it here. But boy, does that look like a brain window when you see it in the avatar. It's just basically textured gold, which means over here with the Ant-Man avatar, it is also again textured gold. But tell me that doesn't look like a brain window. There's a viral cat on the web who was born with a deformity, and he wears like a little skull cap over his head to protect his head. That's what it reminds me of. Have I defeated you before? That's a pretty cool title. An avatar for MODOK, a Ant-Man card back, which I think is pretty cool, and then this MODOK variant here at 50. To be honest, I actually think I like the default MODOK a little bit more than this assassin variant. Definitely going to go ahead and get the season pass. I'm not really going to go over my decks, as I did that in the last video. I don't think I'm going to make any changes. In terms of buying the Battle Pass and then using MODOK, I don't really see myself doing it, as I do have a discard deck and Ghost Rider can bring people back. However, with not having Hela, it's just not really going to be worth it that much. If I take a look at my discard cards over here, I mean, discarding Apocalypse and having him come back at +4 power, I mean, that's potentially good. And if I were to take a look at my discard deck over here, aka Discard Duty, Elektra's just in there to snipe a card, and then, you know, it's pretty much bog standard, except for the fact that I have Dracula, and he's not in my discard deck right now. I should find a way of working him in, but without Hela, I don't see myself comboing off of MODOK that much. However, being a 5/8, I could just run Cosmo with his ability to turn off on reveal cards, and then just play MODOK as a 5/8. The other thing that's possible is maybe getting him boosted with Nakia before dropping him, getting him boosted with Okoye, getting him boosted with Forge, dropping +2 power, a 5/10 over there really isn't so bad. So you can kind of build the deck around dropping an 8 power default card in round 5, leaving you to play another heavy hitter in round 6. Your Magnetos, your Odins, and everything like that. I just don't really, without Hela, I just don't think I can work him into a good discard deck. But let's go ahead and talk about some interesting Series 5 cards. You have Darkhawk, which is getting pretty popular. +2 power for each card in your opponent's deck. I wonder if you can run a Darkhawk deck with injecting rocks and making your opponent draw cards. That could be cool. Dazzler ongoing. If you have 4 cards at each location +6 power, this could be good with maybe a Patriot token deck, running a lot of tokens, Broods, Ultrons, Doctor Doom, Patriot boosting them, and then Dazzler getting a boost. Galactus, we don't really need to talk about. Everybody knows Galactus. Same thing for Null. Sauron, remove the abilities from all ongoing cards in your hand and deck. I think that could be pretty interesting for cards that have negative ongoing. Electro, he would get turned off, so you would get the +1 max energy, but you would lose the negative of you can only play 1 card per turn. That is a interesting combo there. Typhoid Mary gets turned off. Red Skull would get turned off. So I think there are some interesting cards that you can play with Sauron. He's not as negative as perhaps it seems. It would be nice if he could do the enemy team too, but I think that would just be way too overpowered. Sentry cannot be played at the right location. On reveal, add a -8 power void to the right location. So if you think about that, you might be like, oh Jesus, that sounds awful. Why would I want a -8 in a lane? First of all, if you sent a Hobgoblin over in that lane, you are looking at the fact that potentially your negative would be less than the negative on the other side. But here's something interesting. I don't see people talking about this combo, but I think it could be fun as hell. If you played Sentry, and think about this potentially in round 6. Say you left the lane relatively open, the right lane. You played Sentry and it dropped a -8 power void on the right location. Then you dropped Viper on that void. You could send over the void to the enemy if there's room and send over -8. On reveal, your opponent gains control of one of your other cards at this location. If you had really negative cards on your side, and really the only thing I could think happening is she flips back a Hobgoblin or a Goblin or potentially the Void, I think that could be a really fun combo. And I never hear anybody talking about Sentry. I never hear anybody talking about Sentry with Viper, nonetheless. It's an original idea in my head because I haven't heard anybody talking about it. It'd be interesting to see if somebody could pull it off. On reveal, your opponent gains control of this. So, what could be a possibility is on round 5, you send out... Well, alright, so he was -8. For some reason, I thought he was -13. But on round 5, send over a Hobgoblin. Round 6, drop Sentry somewhere, drop Viper on your right lane, and send over a -8 Void and have him be -16 on that side. Fun little combo. I think perhaps it would wind up taking a lot of work to create that combo, but it's interesting if you can pull it off. Shadow King, played by the great Aubrey Plaza over in the series Legion, which if you haven't seen Legion, I would suggest you do so. Just don't be on drugs when you do it, because it's like you're on drugs when you watch that show. Set all cards here to their original base power. Could be a counter to Luke Cage, Typhoid Mary, Luke Cage, Hazmat decks. Since it's set all cards here to their original base power, I think he could turn off Devil Dino decks. And yeah, can turn off Devil Dino decks with Dino Girl. Maybe that would knock him back to a 5-3. Never really realized this guy's actually pretty good for Mr. Negative. Switching him over to a 3-5 and then boosting him. Does anybody do that? Does anybody run a Mr. Negative Devil Dino Girl deck? I don't know if you would want that many other cards being flipped by Mr. Negative and then duplicating your deck for it. But yeah, I think Devil Dino could be a fun one to run for Mr. Negative. It's another one I don't really hear people talking about particularly much. We have Shayna, or actually probably Shauna, I guess, because there is no I. Shauna, the She-Devil. On reveal, add a random 1-cost card to each location. Personally, seems to go very well with Dazzler. Each location. This doesn't say friendly or for every player. Since I don't have Lady Thickums over here, I don't necessarily know if it only creates for friendly. Add a random 1-cost card to each location. The location is the location, whether it's friendly or enemy. I'm going to think it's friendly. Another one here that could be good for Mr. Negative, flipping over her to be a 2-4. That could be neat. Give Silver Surfer, we all know about that. He was the Battle Pass recently and had that package deal going on. And then Thanos. At the start of your game, shuffle the 6 Infinity Stones into your deck, and then you have all of the stones over here that you can take a look at in your own time. So people are already posting MODOK decks and MODOK related victories and losses out there. I'm not too sure if he works in a discard scenario unless you are running Hela, who takes good advantage of it. Let's see something real quick over here. A Mr. Negative bundle is in the store for 8,000. If you don't have Mr. Negative, you can get them. You also get 3,000 tokens, so 8,000 gold. If you had 0 gold, would be $100. Oh my god. Wow. You know, didn't we have a little bit of hope that Second Dinner wasn't going to be this particularly greedy? I mean, these two packages right here are $200 combined. I think that is a little crazy. The 6,000 credits would absolutely break my limit right now. If I were to top out at 1,000 from my current 4,000, which was low recently, I used gold on a bundle and had really, really low gold for a while. I'm surprised to see it up at 4,000, but this would cost me $50 right now and change. $50 and then a little bit more to get that bundle. First of all, I think that Mr. Negative isn't really worth attempting to get if you don't have him already. Fun decks, don't get me wrong, I think it's fun to try and use him. But I feel like the biggest part of this package, this bundle, is more the other things. Be My Valentine's would be a funny title, at least for the month of February. 3,000 collector tokens. If you're close to getting something, maybe this is really what the big deal is, because it's so hard to get tokens due to their rarity. And perhaps that's why they do these bundles, is because they know it's rare. And they probably say to themselves, if people really want something in their shop and they really want tokens, we're going to entice them with these really fucking ridiculously expensive combos. These bundles over here are crazy. This Pro bundle, 155 boosters. Yeah. Way too expensive. So right now I have a Venomized Kraven, which honestly I wouldn't necessarily know looking at it that it would be Kraven. It just looks very very just straight up Venom with hair, like an alternate universe Venom. A Quinjet Blueprint, a Pixel Sarah, which looks awful. There's a lot of hate for Pixel variants online. Old Man Hawkeye, you can find him in Marvel's Avengers. A Chibi Jessica Jones, and a Dan Hip Wolfsbane. And one of the few Dan Hip ones I actually don't mind. That's not a bad Dan Hip one. If I were to go for that bundle and get those 3,000 tokens, I could get this Luke Cage. But then again, I can almost accomplish Luke Cage by turning off a Typhoid Mary and turning off a Hazmat. yeah. I don't know. I don't see myself really going for that bundle. And I have boost to Morph, Lizard, and Pixel Pun right over here. Mixelplick. Oh, pulled 100 collector's tokens. You know, it's funny. I'm railing on tokens over here as being a real diamond level rarity, and then I pull 100 tokens out of a cache over here, a collector's reserve. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Do you think MODOK is viable without Hela? Do you think the cat on the keyboard hitting the escape key? Do you think MODOK is worth it if you have, say, Ghost Rider, and look back here at the discard deck, Ghost Rider and Apocalypse, Ghost Rider and another hit like Ghost Rider Death, maybe, possibly trying to run your cards out early, and when MODOK discards your deck, well, let me see something really quick. I want to see something. Because it's not discard your hand, it's discard the whole deck. Oh, no, discard your hand. Okay. So, I don't know. If you had America Chavez, you could ensure that Chavez doesn't get discarded. Run a bunch of cheapies to keep your hand really, really low, and maybe discard a death in your hand, and then have Ghost Rider bring back a free death. But the thing is, then your poor America Chavez winds up getting to be a sacrifice. So, alright, if you MODOK in turn 5 and drop a Ghost Rider in turn 6 to bring back a free death, that's all well and good, but then your America Chavez, who you're drawing on turn 6 no matter what, can't actually get played. She would never have the chance of playing because your turn 6 is dedicated to Ghost Rider. I don't know. Maybe running a weird discard death deck and getting a cheap death earlier in the match, and I don't know. I just don't see MODOK really being that good unless you've got a Hela. So let me know, and for those Series 5 cards that we talked about, let me know if you've got any good decks planned with those, and what you think about Viper Sentry Void. That could be an interesting combo, especially with what I thought over there of doing Sentry Viper, sending over a negative void on turn 6, and then sending over a Hobgoblin on turn 5, and what that would be like to combo two -8s over there in turn 5 and 6. Let me know what you guys think and what you are planning to run here in what I'm going to call the Quantumania season. Well, okay, Into the Quantum Realm. What are you going to run in Into the Quantum Realm? And do you have any plans for MODOK? Catch you guys later.